Hey Rise fans, Mackenzie Welsh here, and I am super excited to be with you for our second installment of Quick Set. Today I'm sitting down with four Big Ten players. We have two Michigan Staters, two Penn Staters, two moms, a hometown hero, and a national championship winner, and four absolutely rock star human beings. So let's get started.
Yes, my name is Nia Grant. I went to Penn State from 2011 to 2014. I am currently in Ohio. That's where I live and that's where I'm from. What else? Sorry. I have a really cool kid. I have one daughter. My husband, he doesn't live with us. So he lives in France because he's playing basketball there. So he won't be with us in Grand Rapids. But I'm super excited to get out there. But I love Kathy. So she's like the main reason why I'm there. I'm just super excited to play under her. She's so intense and pro woman. And, really for myself, she's been really encouraging as far as coming back from having a kid and everything. So I'm really excited to, get around this great group of people and do some pretty badass stuff.
My name is Alyssa Jensen, formerly Garveling. I live in the Grand Rapids area with my husband Aaron and my daughter. She's almost 6 months old, and I went to Michigan State and played with Holly all 4 years. So from from 2014 to 2017, and now I'm still in the Grand Rapids area and love this area. Looking forward to playing in front of friends and family. I'm originally from Holland, Michigan, so there'll be a lot of Garblink, Jensen, and everyone in between in the stands. So I'm excited.
Amazing. I'm so excited to see all your family again. Our dads are just going to be like together all the time.
Glory.
Yeah, they're so excited. I think my dad called your dad immediately after this happened. Amazing. Well, I'll go next. My name is Holly. I play, Tolliver for now. A year from today, my last name will be Komisarek. So that's exciting. Can you believe a guy said yes to me? Anyway, my fiance, I'll start with him. He played at the University of Hawaii. He was a libero there. So I like him tiny. And he's a sweetheart, nicest guy ever. Also very intensive, very competitive. I think that's why we get along so well. And we live in Huntington Beach, California for now. We're just kind of moving around. We're always going everywhere, so we'll see where we end up. But as of right now, Huntington Beach. He will not be going with me. He's born and raised in California and then went to college in Hawaii. If I ask him to come to Michigan January through April, he might leave me. So I don't want to do that to him. He'll come visit, and like I said, the snow is not really his thing. And then I'm really excited to be playing back in Michigan. I'm excited to be with my family. I'm from Berrien Springs, Michigan, so Southwest Michigan is not too far away. Family called me this morning. They're really excited to bring my niece and nephew to a game as if it's like next week. I was like, great, can't wait to see you guys in 6 months. But yeah, I'm so excited to be back in Michigan and be playing again. Did I say I played at Michigan State? I think I skipped that part. I played at Michigan State with Alyssa, and it was amazing. I'm still working on practicing her name because we called her Garv for the longest time. So every time we're in public, I called her Alyssa, but in practice, I always called her Garv. So I'm going to have to rework that the best I can. And it was the best 4 years I think I've ever had. I loved Michigan State. I loved playing for Kathy. Kathy is honestly one of my favorite people. Her work ethic and her training style is something that I think everyone should be a part of at some point in their life, because it's definitely something to see. And her intensity will never go away. She will always be that way. It will not change. So yeah,
She says
that
to me
is all.
all the time. She always goes, "I'm not that deep. I just want to win." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Kath, we're in the middle of negotiations about apartment deals here. So
She has to win everything.
That's not a good philosophy for me.
Yes.
I just want to win. I'm like, okay, this is not volleyball. We need to talk
That's
about.
what you're there for. You keep her on track. You're like her Kristen Kelsey. That's what she loves. That's why she loves setters.
She'll call me Kelsey all the time, or she'll call me Kristen, and I've just like started responding to it. And she's like, "I'm so
Huge
sorry."
compliment.
And I'm
That's a
like,
huge
honestly, it's a
compliment.
compliment, so it's okay. We're from the same town. We played at the same club. I get it. It's okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Erica Pritchard. I'm an outside hitter from Frederick, Maryland. I'm 24 years old, and I come from a family of 5, and I have 2 older brothers. From 2017 to 2021, I played 4 years at the University of Maryland, got my degree in behavioral and community health, and I played my extra COVID year at Penn State. After that season, I played half a season in France, and then last year I was playing in Switzerland for a whole year. And so I'm just so excited to get started with PVF and be a part of the Grand Rapids community. I've heard such great things about this city, and I'm just so excited to be coached by Kathy because all throughout my Big Ten experience, I've played against her, and so it's just nice to be on the same side of the net with her and just be coached by her. So I'm so excited.
Okay, so Holly and Garv, give me your most memorable Kathy-isms.
I think all we have to do is just this.
That's everyone's favorite for sure. This is people meet her for the first time. This is just what they do.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I could share half of them.
She goes,
I know. A lot of grabbing too. She's very hands-on, touchy, like
She'll
Yeah.
move you around. She's really
She will.
excited about something. She'll grab
she
you.
walked in today. I said, "How was lunch with Connor?" She goes,
every aspect of life, but especially in volleyball.
but
The
it's
head goes down and the hands go
Yeah.
up.
Yep, little this bunch of clap.
Okay, so what are you? I think we all kind of talked about like what are most excited to play in Grand Rapids, like what we're most excited for to play in Grand Rapids. What are you most excited for to play professional volleyball in the US?
I went overseas immediately after my season at Michigan State. So I started in Peru and South America, and I played in South American Championship in Brazil. I went to Vietnam for 2 different tournaments, and then played in Europe, in Italy and Germany, and had the offer in Switzerland, injured, came home. So I've played a little bit of everywhere, hit a few continents, and it's really nice to be able to, one, speak English. It's you should be surprised how much you realize you speak like dumb English when you're in another country. And I feel like you guys can understand what I mean by that. You can't use like certain adjectives or anything to describe anything because people don't understand what you're saying. So you have to speak dumb English all the time. And then you come home and you still speak dumb English. So I'm excited to just like talk to people, have your teammates understand you, communicate on the floor, and be around. Obviously, coming home and seeing family is really nice. You feel like you're grounded a little bit more, and you have people surrounding you rather than being just kind of out on an island alone when you're overseas. So that's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like just having that option to stay in the States is really, really nice. And obviously, like having friends and family come visit you and stuff. But I think when you play overseas, I've only played for about almost 2 years abroad. So I feel like it's kind of isolating in a way, and just adapting to the culture can be super tough. Like it's a new team, new coach, new system. The coach can be crazy sometimes, or like just so many aspects of just living abroad in a different country is kind of a little bit difficult on its own. So just that on top of volleyball can be a lot, but I think it's just nice to be able to know you're in the States, and a lot of things, there's a lot more barriers I feel like to overcome when you're playing overseas.
A lot of would you say it's a lot of uncertainty?
Yeah.
Like when you're over there, like you don't know what the management's gonna do. You don't know what the coach is gonna do.
Like you don't know if the
Get
coach is gonna
paid.
get fired tomorrow, or it's like, I don't know. And I feel like I'm excited for this because the facilities and like the quality of everything I feel like is gonna be super like gold standard, and just seeing everything across the board being high quality is something really exciting. But
Yeah.
I think for me, After college, I had an opportunity to play abroad, but that knowing myself, that's just not my personality. I've always kind of been a homebody and just kind of wanted to start my family and put down roots close to home. So I think this is the best of both worlds for me, right? I get to pursue my passion as well as live close by and be around family. So that was super important to me. And I'm really blessed and just fortunate to be a part of the inaugural season. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I have been a little bit of all over the place as far as overseas, and um it's kind of like the other girl said, being familiar with a lot of things. And now that I have a daughter, I can't say that I would realistically, pick her up and go into a situation where I have like not really any idea of what to expect, especially with my husband being overseas and playing in a different country. So it's like, every league isn't going to be like, oh, you need help with a babysitter or something like that. So I think that is just really helpful. And even to make calls for ourselves, like I can get on my phone and make a phone call to Michigan and see if I can find a daycare or something like that. So I think now having a little bit of an extended family compared to when I was living my single life makes a huge difference as far as heading overseas. Oh yeah.
What advice would you give athletes who want to play in the Big Ten one day?
I would say be ready to work. I think so many kids are like, oh, I just want to go to, Penn State, Iowa, whatever. But like, I feel like that Big Ten grind is something different. Like, you're not normal if you play in the Big Ten. And I don't say that in a bad way, but I mean, you just work. It's a crazy grind. And between like the game schedule and the practice schedule and with school and everything else, I mean, it's a great time. You're willing to do what it takes to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Big Ten is such a competitive conference that every match is a dogfight. And I feel like kind of not being entitled to something, I feel like it's just willing to put in the work and like Nia said, just do the work and I feel like the rest will follow. But it's pretty competitive conference and it's something that you shouldn't take lightly. And if you really want to be among the best of the best, then I feel like it takes a certain type of person and work ethic to get there.
I agree. I'd say like playing wise, just get really comfortable playing out of system. There's a lot of great servers and the serves are really tough. So you're out of system most of the time. So finding a way to terminate out of system.
I coach all the time now in California, and I always tell them that you have to love it. A lot of them just are like, I want to play D1. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I grew up saying, I want to play in the Big Ten. I want to do, I was very aggressive as an athlete, especially when I was younger. And if you don't love it, I swear people burn out so fast because there's like everyone said, it's a lot of work. And there's times where you're not playing, but you have to make your team better in practice. You have to still work at that. And there are teammates that are just like, well, I don't play. So, it can't be in the Big Ten. You can't have that. Like you're dismissed so fast. There's no way. So I just say you have to love the game so much to continue to put out that work ethic and the drive that you need to play in the Big Ten.
And I also feel like to not be afraid of those big moments, because once you get to those matches and you're playing in front of thousands of people, I feel like as a freshman it can get super daunting and scary, but just kind of knowing you're there for a reason and not being afraid to take big swings and being those big moments because it's gonna happen.
Absolute side note, Holly's senior year of high school and my sophomore year of high school, we were playing each other in a club tournament and my right side blocker didn't jump. And do you remember this? Do you remember me telling you this story? My right side blocker did not jump and I'm sitting in right back. Holly is on the outside. She goes up and just drills balls on the line. It hits me right here. There was a silencing thud. Like the entire court went silent. The ball went 6 feet up in the air because I was like right off my throat. My entire team was so shocked the ball hit the ground. And I was like, that was a really good dig. And now I can't breathe. We lost the ball. Sorry. You said you were really intense, especially when you were younger. I was like, oh, I remember.
When I was a freshman and you had that like killer topspin serve, I was like shaking in my boots, like ready to receive a ball, and like I was so scared. I was like a deer in the headlights trying to pass that ball.
I just want to give a little bit of a heads up. I am not the same player that I used to be in high school and college. I was like a rip your throat out type of person, and I have played overseas with everyone, and like that doesn't rub off on people well. Like Garf knows, I dealt with a lot from my attitude. And playing overseas, I have gotten awards from my teammates for being the most chill, calm, quiet person. So I'm like have flipped a 180, but I was absolutely the definition of ruthless, and I apologize every day.
Yeah, it made me better.
I remember we played each other, Holly, in May. And
Yeah.
you guys were like scheduled to win the tournament. You guys had a cool, like, you brought videographers with you, and you guys had
California is crazy.
You
They're so
walked
crazy.
our team walked in t-shirts, had never played together. We ended up beating Holly's team, and she was so pissed. She went on a 7-0 serving run, and we could not receive her serve. It was so annoying. And I was like, guys, just pass it. Just one pass. And they couldn't. It was really frustrating. Okay.
It's because you had Murd. Murd was mental. She was thinking like, oh, it's Holly from college, serve at me. And it was just like, it was all mental. That was not my skill.
Okay, so we're gonna piggyback off of your comment about your 180. So how, as you've gotten older, how has your perspective on volleyball changed?
My perspective on volleyball has changed a lot over the years. I had a coach in high school that was Hall of Famer and was really cutthroat and ruthless as well. So he taught me to be that way. And I carried it through to college because I thought, it's the toughest conference, especially at the time that I was there, that we were there, Garv and I together. And I thought that if I wanted to be the best, my dream was always to be an All-American, that I needed to be different than other people. And everybody was always like, everyone's nice, when you first get on the team. They're like, oh yeah, you go first in the drill. No, you go first. And I was like, I'll freaking, I was just like this psychopath. And then I saw how like my teammates would react to my attitude, I guess. It wasn't towards them, it was more towards, I just cared about winning. That's where Kathy and I are on the same wavelength, that she would understand my perspective on things because I didn't care about feelings, I cared about winning. But you can't win the end goal, which was a national championship, with everyone just like hating one teammate. Like you had to bring everyone together, you have to go together. And that took being on a team at Athletes Unlimited with the whole squad there and learning from them. And I was there, I was mostly on Jordan's team, and she kept picking me because she thought I was a good teammate. Jordan Larson did. And I always looked up to her, and I didn't understand. I had an understanding that I would never play over her. She's Jordan Larson. And then I watched how she conducted herself on the floor. She's very competitive, but she's calming and people follow her. So I think that was like a big awakening for me. And then after that, coming out of that season, having so many friends and connections, I was like, well, maybe I should like do that more. So that's what happened to me.
I guess kind of similar to Holly. I mean, I was very, I won't say soft in high school, but when I got to Penn State, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard stories, but when I left, I was a very different person. And I can't say it was a great thing. I definitely felt that I needed to make some changes when I got to France because I was just very intense. It's like you said, like, we don't need to be friends for us to win. Like, we need to be teammates, and we need to, but like at Penn State, that worked. Not saying that we weren't friends or anything, but we could really push each other. You would come in the gym and you'd probably assume that we all hated each other, but that was just us, like, creating the culture and holding each other accountable. And, like, I'm pushing you because I know you can do it. If I don't think you can do it, I'm not going to scream at you, right? But like everyone doesn't see it that way. So when I got overseas, it was like, yeah, like your teammates are crying after practice. You can't keep doing this. And I'm like, but doing what? Like, she's just not doing, if she was doing what she's supposed to do, I wouldn't be yelling at her. Like, for me, it just makes sense. But I definitely think, honestly, like having my daughter has helped me so much in like my patience and how I speak to people and just how I kind of conduct myself overall, because I think you can definitely make the point and say what you want to say, but you don't have to be a complete you know, asshole about it, to be completely frank. And yeah, I think that's something that I've really tried to work on now, is having that, like you said, that calm and that fire at the same time, but also, making your teammates want to even play with you. But I think that'll be a little bit easier for me to morph with this group, because they understand, like being overseas, different cultures, and especially in Europe, I feel like, I don't want to say it's lax, but people are just a little bit more calm about it. And I think that as Americans, and especially, us having all been in the Big Ten, I think we understand like the intensity that comes with that. So like, if you guys ever come to me and you're on the court and you're like, Nia, come on, like, please get your shit together, I'm never going to be like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, you're right. I need to get it together, like, now. So I love that. But I think I'm better at acknowledging that it's not the temperament for everybody.
I think piggybacking off of you kind of, I feel like after your 4 years go by, like your first couple years, you're just trying to figure it out. And your third and fourth, you kind of feel that time ticking along. And you just really want the young ones to get on board and get to where you're at. And I feel like that's where that kind of frustration and intensity comes out, is like, come on, like just let the little stuff slide. And I feel like that's where I kind of learned the most, like by my last couple years, is you just kind of don't sweat the little things and you care more about big picture, and you can't dwell on an error or a mistake, and you just kind of have to go to the next point. I really struggled with that my first couple of years. It just, one bled into two, bled into three, and I just couldn't get out of my own head. And I think as you get older and just maturity too, that just kind of gets a little easier, and you rely more on your practice and your skill set, and kind of just not to sweat the small things.
I think my perspective has changed a lot in the last years. I think growing up in high school and even college, volleyball was like my whole world, where that's all I thought about, that's all I cared about, and it kind of put me in sort of a negative mindset. And I feel like I've had a lot of moments of burnout, and I feel like it wasn't until the past several years where I really found balance and realized how important that is in my life, and just having other things that bring me happiness outside of my sport. I realized that helped me a lot with my perspective. But I feel like when I step on the court, I can be super competitive and want to win. And I think that just looks different for everyone. I like to be level headed on the court and steady for my team. And I still feel like having that edge is super important. And off the court, I feel like I'm pretty easygoing and I still like to have fun. So I feel like when I try to like find that joy again in the process, that's super helpful for me, and it helps me stay loose and relaxed and just like focus on the goal and like the task at hand. But I think I like to really still have fun while doing it, because I feel like we all should.
Those are really good answers, you guys. Okay, everybody's favorite TV show.
Friends.
All American.
Okay, it used to be The Office, because I watched it like 5 times all the way through. So I think that's still my top.
I'll go Schitt's Creek. Hilarious.
That too.
My mindless show. I just throw it on.
It's a good one. I do that with New Girl. New Girl's
Oh yeah,
That's a good one too.
my favorite show. Okay, favorite movie.
The Fifth Element. I love it.
Element.
Ooh, that was a good one.
The Fifth Element is like my favorite like ever. Finding Nemo, but it's a second.
I don't know if I have a favorite movie. I don't know if I can speak on that.
Okay.
I don't think I can pick a favorite either.
Hard. Favorite everything, I can't pick.
I know, me either.
Mamma Mia is up there for me. Mamma Mia and the Devil
First or
Wears.
second?
You say first or second? I don't
First.
love the second one. Mamma Mia the original, the OG
Yeah.
yeah. Holly, do you have one? Do you have a favorite movie?
I wish I had something that was like inspiring.
I'm gonna out you here. In your questionnaire, you did put Step Brothers.
I was just gonna say Step Brothers.
So inspiring.
It's not just because like I like the movie. I'm not gonna say I don't, but my brother and my dad, we all know the whole script, so
That's so fun.
we just do it back and forth when the movie's not even on. So that's probably why.
Nia, you wrote down that you have met Beyonce.
Yes, that is true.
What's that story?
I just went like to a concert. I think my aunt was like best friends maybe with her manager or something at the time. But I walked in and I got like a response like, "Oh my God, you're so tall," and I was like, "Hey, you're Beyonce."
I'm
Yeah.
tall, you're Beyonce.
Although I wasn't expecting it, like she was actually very small, so that shocked me. But it was cool. I mean, she was nice, and I was like, I don't know, like 13 or something.
Holly, you have met Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
Yeah, he lived in my town, in my village of Berrien Springs, Michigan. Yeah. His
Wow.
estate is Al Capone's old estate.
That's a fun fact.
Fun fact. Yeah. I think he liked it because he lived in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And he would always drive his golf cart downtown, go to McDonald's because he wasn't allowed to drive anymore because he had Parkinson's. So he'd take his, he had a helper. I met after he died, my dad ran the security for around there because it was just crazy how many people were sending flowers and everything. So we went and saw his whole estate. He has a gym. It's called the Goat Gym. And then he has like his goat offices and then his house. And we got to see his boxing ring and everything. It was very cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Favorite hobby or like favorite thing to do outside of volleyball?
Traveling and hanging with my kid. Yeah, she's okay.
I really like to read, and again, do some family things as well.
What's your favorite book?
Oh gosh, you can't put me on the spot like that.
Somebody else.
Again, I'm not good at favorites. I'm like,
Okay, what did you most recently read?
Oh gosh. Again, I don't know. I like romance. That's my genre. It's good escapism. That's why I like it. I like the romances.
Okay, favorite hobby, Erica, Holly.
Ooh, I feel like I have a lot of interests, but I like to play the ukulele. I like to draw.
Me too. Mine's over there.
So fun. It's so fun. I got it like 2 years ago and it's so fun. Pretty easy. But I like drawing, I like art, I like film, photography, traveling, anything that gets me literally in nature, I love. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of interests, so can't say just one.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get along so well. We have the same stuff.
I'm gonna bring my ukulele to Michigan and we're gonna have some jam sessions.
Yeah.
You guys could do the national anthem just on your little
Like this bob, like
Holly, do you have a hobby?
I do a lot of little things. I don't know if I have like a specific hobby, but I think that I can do anything that I watch on TikTok. So I made a blanket here on football Sunday because I didn't want to watch football. I draw. That's my gorilla for my fiance when we first started dating. Can't really see it. Paint, do a lot of things. If I get bored in one, then I just switch to another. So I don't really have like a set
I feel that.
thing. Yeah.
Dabbler.
Dabbler. Okay, there's one other question I have, and it's for Nia. You wrote on your questionnaire that your hobby of aviation is really fascinating to you. So tell me a little bit about aviation.
Yes, it's like really, I know, probably strange and surprising, but I love aviation and like the weather and stuff like that. So I actually was studying to be an air traffic controller. I passed the test and did the studying and everything. I just didn't move to the next part. So I stopped last November. for reasons that were outside of the actual job, because I loved it. I think it's amazing. But there is an age cutoff. So you have to finish school and be in the workforce by age 31. So when this opportunity kind of hit, I was at the crossroads of like, do I do that, or do I, take this really cool opportunity, which for me, I'm very like free as far as my time and where I like to be. And also with my husband, he's not a US citizen, so he's French. And that's also not allowed. So it's also like I have to kind of give one up or hide one or the other. And yeah, I obviously cannot do that. So, or that's my choice not to do that. So yeah, I just decided I had to put that aside, and maybe eventually if I can get back in that space, I would love to. But it was so much fun, like when I did the schooling, and it gives me like, I don't know, I'm one of those strange people. I really like stress, right? So it's like one of those like high intensity, like the school was insane and, very short time, lots of information. I think we had to know like, oh my God, it was like 900 pages of workbook. We had 4 weeks and it basically had to be memorized. Yeah. So like if you if you ever ask me like what airport is I don't know, Phoenix, I can tell you PHX, or like literally anywhere you want to go, I can give you the airport code like in 2 seconds. Like, oh, there's 4 airports in Pittsburgh and these are the codes and like all the things. I just really love it. And like the weather and knowing like the science behind why it's raining and like why it's snowing or sleeting and like all the things, like I don't know, I just love it. So maybe in my next life after volleyball we'll see where I can get with that. But as far as air traffic, I unfortunately will not meet the cutoff to start.
Why is there an age cutoff?
Yeah, so actually the United States has the oldest age. In most countries it's like 21. You have to be like starting and finishing. Some countries it's 24, but the US is like unheard of that it's age 31, and it's because they have like your health. So the health checks are insane. You have to see well and hear well and obviously be mentally well. And also the like pension, you have to retire at 56. Like no matter what, you're finished at 56, you're done, you're retired. You can do other things in the aviation space, but you can't like be an active controller. So you can be like an air traffic manager, or you can be in the accounting department or whatever, but you can't be like in the tower guiding planes necessarily.
I think we need to be plane partners because I absolutely hate flying and turbulence. So I just need you spitting those facts to me like,
yeah.
Oh, we're in a thing of jello. Like, we're fine.
Yeah. So crazy because I used to want to be a pilot. And then when I was at Penn State, we always flew on this little charter plane. And for me, it ruined everything. Like I was so scared to fly. So it was like, I'm definitely not being a pilot, but how can I still be in that space? And that's how I found air traffic. And after studying air traffic, now I'm so calm when it comes to flying because one, I know what these people have gone through to guide us these planes. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, they're good. And also like it's like when you feel like it's turbulent, it's really not that turbulent. Like at no point, I think there's only one time in my life where I can say I've been in severe turbulence, and like it's still like we're trained for that. So it's not like, the odds of the plane going down, when they say the odds of the plane going down are like 1 in a million, it's like for real. So like the air mechanic.
This is what I need. This is what I need.
Yeah. The airplane mechanics, avionics, like everything is so like you really don't need to worry that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alyssa, what makes you most nervous about flying?
Oh my gosh. What doesn't? The takeoff, the landing, the turbulence. I don't know. Holly, do you remember that one?
Minnesota, we flew over tornadoes.
Oh my gosh. We were in a storm. I think I screamed too much. I think we all did, really.
Garb was literally like, I'm gonna text my mom. I love her. And then as we fall and crash, it should send before we hit the ground. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I covered all my bases.
Off airplane mode. So by the time we're hitting the ground, my text should go
right.
Yeah. I was that crazy person that's like, I turned to my teammate next to me and I was like, if we are going down, I need you to punch me and knock me out. Like, I don't want to experience dropping out of the sky, even though we did fall. Like, I remember I had my phone on my lap, and with the drop that we hit, I like saw my phone, and I'm like, oh, that's unsettling. So that was my most traumatic, and I hate flying now. But
It was bad. It was super bad. I felt bad for her too, because we were in the back plane of the plane.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
is
like
actually the safest, I've heard.
it was so
On my
bad.
research. It's a true phobia.
Yeah, is it true? Is the back of the plane the
But
same?
what if it
I
splits?
think that's true, which because we were all like, well, if you put first class in the front, they pay all that money, and the back of the plane is actually supposed to be the safest. So, but you're fine. Like air pockets in the sky are a thing. Like I promise, you are fine.
I know. I literally did see that TikTok of that. I don't know if it was a flight attendant or something, and they're like, if you're feeling turbulence, just picture the plane is in jello. Like there's so much pressure above and below. So I forget. I went to Alaska with my family recently, and I did that almost the whole time. I'm like, we're just in jello. We're just in jello. Like,
Yeah, especially once you get past like takeoff and landing, because like I'm not saying it to scare you, but takeoff and landing are the most like fragile parts of flight. So
Yep.
once you get past like that, like you're actually in the sky, if you feel turbulence, like you're actually fine.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
This is
You're-
what I just constant reassurance. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is normal. This is good.
Erica, how do
Some
you
people love it though too, and I'm just not one of those people.
Erica, do you love flying? Do you hate flying? Where are you at?
I'm totally okay with it.
Okay.
But yeah, never had a problem. Don't have a fear. But I feel like a lot of people do like have this really big fear of flying. So not me, but no.
To transition, a couple more like short questions, and then we'll end it. Holly, you wrote that you broke your leg. How did you do that? When did you do that? Where did you do that? Is it an embarrassing story? That would make me love it.
To start, I apologize to Gar for hearing this story for the 1,000th time. She also helped me live through it. So
yeah, it was kind of traumatic for me, and it wasn't even my experience. So
okay. Yeah, so I was a senior in high school and I had a stress fracture in my leg, but I thought it was a shin splint because I had 2 shin splints. With rest, I ended up feeling just like a really sharp pain in the one leg. So I was like, okay, well, my shin splints went away. I just have this one piece still left. I finished my senior year, everything was fine, went into Michigan State, told them about it, and they were like, well, it does sound like a shin splint, you should be fine. And I was playing, side note, broke my foot, so I had a 3-week break, and then I got elbowed by one of our middles, Jasmine White. Not her fault. I went for a tip and she turned for the tip, and I just got bowed in the nose, broke the tip of my nose, but I didn't need surgery. It stayed straight. And then after that, they thought I had fragile bones. So they had me do a bone scan at Michigan State because they were concerned. And my whole right leg lit up, that my shin had not healed. And my fibula was actually starting to break as well. You could see it like glows. They inject you with this radioactive stuff. I'm sure it's super healthy. And then you lay underneath this thing and then you glow like a glow stick where you're broken. I for sure am getting cancer from that, but it's totally fine. And so my leg was like
Wait,
lit
it's not
up.
a DEXA, it's not a MRI. It was just like this different scan.
It's called a bone scan. Yeah.
Oh.
So you just like lay there and then you see your body and it's like bing, 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 wherever you're broken, which is like cool. Great. My foot didn't heal yet. So I had 2 spots on my foot, and then my right leg, my fibula and my tibia was, it was a crack in my tibia, like almost halfway through. Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah.
So then they told me I had to take a break. So I was on crutches and everything the rest of my freshman year to try to heal it. But it had been like that for almost 2 years at that point. So obviously it didn't heal itself. And so I had to get a titanium rod into my tibia and 2 screws, one in the ankle and one 2 inches lower than my knee.
Oh my.
To hold the rod in.
Bionic.
She's titanium.
Bionic Holly.
You still have those screws and stuff in your leg.
I do. And the ankle one, I don't know if the way that they put it in, but you can feel it on the side. Garv gets super
This is
freaked
the
out.
trauma that you talked about your rod so much, or you'd be like, oh, my rod is a little sore. And I'm like,
Oh, the pressure. So like flying, my ankle will swell up or something because of the screw or the pressure in the, you probably know the weather, but I know the weather even if I'm not outside because my ankle tells me what the weather's like.
oh,
And
God.
it's a
You're
very
using
real
my
thing.
knee.
But yeah,
We're
exactly.
just getting goofy now, I feel like.
So,
We're just
Garv,
getting
was it,
goofy.
were you living with Holly when this was all happening, or were you guys still in the dorms?
We were in the dorms, but we were close, weren't we, Holly? I can't even
No,
remember.
me and
Wasn't that
Abby were
freshman?
together. You and Rachel were together, right?
That's what it
But we
was.
were like,
We were right there. I feel like we were kind of
I
neighbors.
was in Gar's room every day.
Yes,
With
this
your-
is why it's a little gray area.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in her room every day because I don't even know why, but we were just inseparable for the first couple years. Yeah.
Man, I didn't know that Jazz also elbowed you.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was a tip on the right side, and her and I went up and blocked together. And I saw the tip early because middle, she was like sliding a little bit late. And I turned to get it to my right, and she went boom to the other way and just I ate it so hard. I was like, God dang it. That hurt.
Us middles and our elbows, super pokey.
Yours is not that bad. And that was like the one time I ever got
Notre
the block.
Dame game?
That wasn't Notre Dame. That was
it not Notre Dame?
okay. So this one time,
this is a story worth
we have
telling.
pictures. Yeah, we have pictures. Gar's elbow, my forehead had him run in with her elbow, and I grew a knot like that big. It was like a unicorn horn. I met a girl, played with her, who played at Duke and saw it when it happened.
Oh my God.
And when she did, she hit my forehead and then it went into my nose. So she hit my nose again. So my nose started bleeding, but I refused to go out, and I could feel my forehead tightening up, but I didn't know how bad it was. The whole game they paused it because they were so concerned. And then they pulled me off on the side, and Kathy was like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "Okay." So she let me go back out and play, but they stuck this tampon thing up my nose, and then I had this massive unicorn horn. I have pictures, unfortunately. I'll send them to you.
I would love
It's not intentional.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But I was on, as soon as I turned, all the fans were like, and then
there
it was
an audible gasp. It was
fans.
It was horrible. I felt so terrible.
Last question. Quick
Sorry,
check-in. Erica, how's your knee? How's rehab? How are you doing?
My knee is doing really well. So I'm about 8 months post-op. I had my surgery in March, early March, but it's been surprisingly better than expected. It's going really great. I feel like I had such a great surgeon in Switzerland, and then coming home, that transition was really good. My PTs have been so good. They're like sport PTs, so they actually like know what they're doing, and they've gone about it so smart in the way of like each phase. And right now I feel like I'm in the more plyometric phase and starting to get more like agility and sprinting work. Yeah, it's such a long process, but each step of the way it's been really, really good so far. I had to run so there's this like return to running rehab program outside of PT that they want me to do. So last week I was running like 3 miles like 3 times a week. So that was really really hard, but it's been super like rewarding to know that like you can run, and just feeling everything it's been really good so far. So I've never ran so much in my whole athletic career, but it's been amazing. But yeah, it's been going really well so far. Thank you. So hopefully soon I can start getting back into volleyball and those movements and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, but just want to keep. I still have like ways to go, but I've come so far. So it's kind of like you're in that mindset of just being grateful of where you are now and then just looking forward. But yeah, it's been going well so far. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching. We can't wait to see you at our first home match on January 25th at Van Andel Arena. We'll see you then. Bye.